Brodes Media.
Listen, listen to me. They're winning hangover games. They're winning games when they're literally shotgunning beers out their ass until 4 in the morning. Special. Marchand. Clutch as nails. Rafael Marchand. I fell asleep at 6-4. I watched Max Kepler pimp one to right field with a sickening backdrop. That backdrop, it was so cocky, it was so confident, it was so Max Kepler. Right? It's not Ronald Acuna Jr., where he's throwing it in the air 60,000 feet and trotting with his yellow knee guards and arm braces. It was just a simple pimp daddy, which made it that much more sexy, if I'm being honest with you. But you had that. You had Brandon Marsh 0-2 lefty to take the lead. Harper before that. Oh, I'm so glad I was up to witness that part of it. When I woke up, I went 196. Oh, Rafael Marchand. But dude, wow. They were down 4-zip. This is an easy game to just consider it an automatic loss. You had people nationally tweeting out, if you want to fade anybody, it's the team that was celebrating like this and showing videos of Garrett Stubbs with 7 different beers in his mouth, right? You got all these guys. Here's Kyle Schwarber screaming to the cameras, I'm hammered, as he's pouring another beer down his throat. That's the team you fade. You're down 4-rip, and Shohei Ohtani's putting on a gem. Now, truth be told, things shifted as soon as you yank him out of the game at 68 pitches, and I don't feel like that's something that's going to be done in postseason ball when you're rocking and rolling that effectively. But on that given day, it was the cards that you were dealt, and you took advantage of it big time. And it's somebody new every day. Rafael Marchand, there isn't a backup catcher that gets less time, and I'm making this stat up out of my rear end here, but I just got to imagine based off of, we know the workload JT has poured out there on the field since becoming a Philly. You know, these backup catchers behind JT, very, 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 very limited. You're in Dodger Stadium. You're still fighting for a bye, which is extremely important. And I think you could sense that from the way the team put out the lineup, that there was still a goal in mind. Yes, we will appreciate the mountain that we climbed to win a division again in 2 straight years, which is significant. It's not the end goal, but it's significant. It's a long journey. Appreciate what you accomplished. But job's not finished. Job's not done. And you have the bottom of the order after you blow the lead. Just barely getting it over the wall, but hey, every inch matters, baby. Ask your wife. Incredible. Incredible. Now, is there fear that it weirdly is coming down to having a lead, blowing a lead? Would you like David Robertson to hold? Of course I would like it. Yes. And I understand it's happening with Duran earlier this series, and now Robertson, and these are guys that you're hoping to shut the door in the postseason. 2 things here. One, it's going to happen. What do you do when it does happen? That's one side of this, right? Okay. Does it break you? Do you fold? Do you fail? Or do you pick up the relief pitcher who didn't have it that day? Also, you got to note that we're talking about the Dodgers here. It's a big-time NL opponent. Sometimes there's going to be players. Now, truth be told, I was sleeping at this point. So in regards to exactly every pitch, location, and having just an off day compared to tipping your cap, whatever, my point is, like, for example, there's going to be great relief pitching on the other team, and Bryce Harper's going to fucking annihilate him. Well, that's the specialty of Bryce Harper. That's the beauty of Bryce Harper. That's the greatness of this lineup. Even if it's Brandon Marsh, he's been doing it since the one bad month he had. Brandon Marsh is insane. In what world? Brandon Marsh, You're talking about he's doing things that you would ask a star of a team to do. Brandon Marsh? In what world? This one, apparently. But when it comes to the relief pitching, I like the fact that they have the balls to just wipe it clean. Almost like if a corner gets beat. Are you going to hold your head down and look defeated? So now the other team knows, well, we can target this bum. He's totally lost. Are the Phillies going to wear it where you could tell that it hurts them and it deflated them and it stole some of the juice out of them? Or the next half inning, or maybe an inning later, they get revenge. You can't knock us out. You may knock us down. You're not knocking us out. We keep coming. And I think that's more of my takeaway from when Robertson gets touched up or Duran gets touched up. And unfortunately, it's not going to work out that way every time where you always have that response. But they have shown you, essentially, they can win in many different ways. And that's what makes it so difficult. I imagine around the league right now, there is fear when you see the Phillies. I don't think all these other teams have fear. I was listening to Afternoon Drive up in New York, and they were talking about if the Mets get in. Now, they're very down on the Mets, but if the Mets get in, they said they'd rather see the Dodgers than any other team in relation to who maybe they could see in the first round. In the wild cards here, we can match up with this Dodgers team. This Dodgers team, now maybe they're idiots, which is very possible. I'm not telling you New York sports fans are very intelligent. No, I'm not these hosts in particular. I like these hosts, all right? I like these hosts. But I'm just saying, in general, New York sports fans, dopes, idiots, morons. I have to say that, right? And I mean that because they are. I don't have to say it because I have to. I have to say it because they are. But my overall point is, you wouldn't say that about the Phils. Not right now. You wouldn't say that about, no, it's just about it, just the Phils. I don't think Milwaukee scares anyone. I don't think the Dodgers scare people the way you envision it. Maybe that's where things get lost in the sauce, which is the expectation was so crazy that they don't look like what the expectation was. And maybe the expectation was so far out there and so extreme that no one could ever live up to the Dodgers hype in the offseason when they were signing guys like Yamamoto and getting all these Japanese players. I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is this team is deadly right now. And I'm seeing all sorts of comments like they're peaking a little too early, just a little too early. I'm not there. I don't feel that. And the whole bye week thing. We shouldn't want the bye. Come on. That is the dumbest argument. I'm not doing it. You want the bye. You need the bye. Setting up your pitching staff is important. Not having to play a 3-game series is important. Go look at the history of getting the bye. The Astros, when they beat you, had the bye. The Dodgers last year had the bye. Let me give it to you this way. The Braves, when we consistently beat the Braves after a St. Louis Cardinals series, what was it the next year? The Miami Marlins series, right? Those wild card rounds. And I know last year was rough for the Phillies and the Mets. I'm talking about winning a World Series. That wasn't because they had a bye. That's because they embarrassed themselves. They didn't lose because the bye. It's an excuse. The Braves were using that as an excuse to why they failed against the Phillies. I'm not using that as an excuse on why the Phillies lost to the Mets. You were embarrassing. That's why you lost. Not because you had a bye. Getting the bye gives you a significant advantage. I'm in. Oh, timing and shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. It's dumb. It is the dumbest thing in the world. Dumb to think you'd rather play in a 3-game series compared to getting a bye and setting everything up. Dumb. But I digress. I know that there are some numbers previously when they switched the whole playoff format that made it seem as if getting the bye is a bad thing. It's not. If you are a team that has the juice, if you are the team that is special, if you are the team that has what it takes, you will get it done. You will get it done. It's unbelievable. Sanchez, he got taken deep a little bit. Got beat up a couple of different times. Still able to go 7. 4 earned runs, no walks. Getting 7 after allowing a couple homers. I think the length that you got out of that was huge. Was absolutely huge. And you wanted to see, what version of Sanchez you get, not in a hangover game, but just knowing that that's your number 1 right now. And I'm not telling you it was perfect. By no means it was not perfect. You don't want to go down 4-0. Your offense actually gave you nothing, though. Speaking of nothing, they gave you nothing. So that was a big part of it. If you had 3 runs at that point and it's 4-3, you probably look at it differently. But all in all, you go 7. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. I wanted to see, though, how does he carry himself? I'm watching his body language after the homers, and it's a weird mentality game, right? Because traditionally, you do know that this is one that most think you're not going to look your best. You're not going to look sharp. But I was really studying what Christopher Sanchez would look like after some damage was done. Does it unravel? Does he look flustered? Does he look aggravated? But getting 7, man, is a big deal. And not walking any is a big deal. And I love watching Christopher Sanchez pitch. There's no doubt about it. Okay, with that, let's take some anytime hotline calls. But first, you know what it's all about, baby. It's all about an Emilio cigar. It's the best cigar to ever touch my lips. We are going to be celebrating so much this October. And after every win between that and the Eagles never dropping games, oh my gosh, Emilio Cigars, it's the only cigar to smoke. It's what you and I will both be smoking after all these wins. And what if I told you old school roots, new school attitude? What if I told you locally owned, 3rd generation? What if I told you made at Fabrica Oveja Negra, Nicaragua? What if I told you you get 10% off by clicking the link down below in the description and utilizing code Brodes10 at checkout? It is a no-brainer. Listen, if you are a cigar smoker and you enjoy sitting out back, enjoying the nice fall weather, if you enjoy playing golf with your friends, especially this time of the year, it's not as heavy with the heat. You can just go out on a nice morning where it's crisp. You can still see the dew. Oh, it's great. What's better than a dew and an Emilio cigar? Nothing. So, again, do me a favor. Check out Emilio Cigars. There's so many different options for you available on the website. Give it a whirl, and then reach out to me and say, Brodes, I bought Emilio. Thank you. Thank you so much. You nailed it. Perfect. It is the best cigar to ever touch my lips. It is the only cigar to smoke. You're the man. And Emilio Cigars are the best. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Just shoot me a little message afterwards. Make sure you join the Emilio Cigar family today. To the phones we go. Let's go to Mist.
Rose, I don't know what to do with this Phillies team. They're revving me up. I was ready to let this game go and forgive them. I had already forgiven them. Sanchez, like, hey man, look, you were partying last night. It's all good. No problem. You pitched pretty well. The Dodgers are pretty hard. And then we come back. And we win this game. We don't give up. Guys you don't even imagine are smashing home runs. Marshawn getting it done in the most clutch moment ever. Brodes. We got this team. We won the World Series, man. Go Phils.
It feels that way. I got to be honest with you. It really does feel that way. And it's scaring me. But I'm also really soaking it in. And it does give me similar feelings to when they were in that middle of the 2022 World Series run. But I know that came out of nowhere. And this kind of, I guess, did come out of nowhere to this level, okay? Stop with the whole, they were great the whole time, anything can happen. It's never been like this. But they're doing this right. It's clicking at the right time. And it does, in the middle of that sequence, when it was Xfinity Live and beating up on the Braves and beating the Padres, you just knew heading into every single night that they were going to be the better team. Like, they were going to win. They were going to bring it. They were going to bring the dog fight. You knew it. You knew the style. You knew the way they were showing up to the ballpark. Now, whether they won or lost on that given day, they're going to drop a game here or there. But just the way they went about their business, there was something special about them during that frame. There's something special about this team right now during this frame. And it is reminiscent of that group. I don't think it's ludicrous to feel with who they are currently that they can win the World Series. Now I feel it. Now I really feel it. All right, so the bye week thing. I searched a little bit here while that call played online. And I used to work with Dylan McKinnon over at the other station, and he actually wrote a piece on September 20th, yesterday, believe it or not. So I guess he's probably feeling very similar to me, hearing a bunch of phone calls about how there's a big disadvantage with the bye week. And he broke down 2022, 2023, 2024, and here's the facts. In 2 out of the 3 years, a team with the bye won a World Series. 3 out of the 6 teams to make the World Series had a bye. That does not scream being at a disadvantage. In fact, go back before the new format. In 2021, the 1 seed lost their first series in both the NL and AL. The 2 seed lost in the NL. Leaving out the COVID year, which had its own weird format, top seeds won 1 out of the last 3 years under the previous format. So just to put it in perspective on what was happening with the top seeds before they even went to the new style of play. Here's his final synopsis. Don't blame the bye week. All of the teams that stumbled after the bye had glaring weaknesses that would have killed them with or without the bye. Those Braves teams were never going to win anything with only one reliable starter in each year. Nor were the Dodgers. The Orioles had no pitching, period. And as for the Phillies, we know the issues that last year's squad had. If the Phillies lose in the NLDS, it won't be because they had 5 days off. It would be either because the NL is tough and they might face the Dodgers in the first series, or it might be because they fall back into bad habits. But nothing that happened in the Phillies-Mets series last year was because of time off. Nothing that happened to the Braves or Dodgers in prior years was because of that either. Clearly, the Astros and last year's Dodgers pulled it off, and it didn't hurt the Yankees either year. That's right, Yankees also went to the World Series last year, too. Getting to skip the 3-game series is the advantage. I was say, Dill, I knew I rubbed off on you. I knew just great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. But yeah, anyway, for whatever it's worth, just giving you some. Yeah, today's not the day. You go Phillies, baby. They're just out there whooping ass in L.A. And here I am getting fed up with 2 or 3 comments about how scared they are of the bye. But it does irk me. It does irk me. If you are a serious team, just go do it. I ain't making no damn excuses. Just go to the phones.
Yeah, I think this team's winning it all.
Why do you sound so sad?
I'm one of the ones.
Why do you sound sad?
And I will stand by my original playoff mark, and I said that we would make a wild card and we'd get bounced, and Bader almost smoked another one. He's ridiculous. I think we're winning it all. I think me and you can both agree that your ideas and your opinions can change in almost 6 months. I think it's been about 6 months. This team's for real. And I was right. If Max hits 20, if we get another, and I called in a bunch of times, Brodes. You haven't used it yet. But I said, Max gets 20, we're gonna do something.
Well, listen, time out. Max Kepler is a big part of this turnaround. But, like, to make it seem like Max Kepler's 20 homer, that's disingenuous to Harrison Bader. That's disingenuous to, if I'm using the right word, to Brandon Marsh. I mean, he's a nice player. And right now, he's playing really well, really well. But heading into the season, if you looked at this group and said Max, and I remember you did, it comes down to 20. This isn't coming down to Max Kepler hitting. That's a part of the pie. But that's too crazy of a statement to apply to this whole team as a whole. Is Max Kepler in 20? And I must say, you sound very down about this. Like, oh, they're gonna win. No, they're gonna win the World Series, man. Like, what? No, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. That's the way it should be. You sound so down and defeated about this. I don't know if because the phone call is coming in at maybe 1 a.m., but if you're watching the Phillies game in real time and you're seeing them do that and you're watching Marchand and you're watching them beat up on the Dodgers in a game that was clearly already written off as a loss, it's a Doc Rivers scheduled loss, and you're giving me this, oh, they're going to win. They're going to win. And then you say, my opinion changed. I changed them after 6 months, but I was right. Max Kepler. Huh? I'll let you continue.
And then when Bader got traded to us, I said, that's a big trade. And then Duran made me literally hard. So, pause, Jesus. No Diddy.
Well,
my thing is here, just don't. Aaron Nola will be a fourth. And it's upsetting to say, as much as I hate him, I wish he was better. I wish he could grab the reins for Zach Wheeler, but he can't. And that's okay. Maybe it's just injury. I don't know what it is with him. I think it's injury. And that's the original Aaron Nola hater saying, guys, it's injury. He is playing through it. Either way, bro, Rafael Marchand, biggest balls on fucking planet Earth. Big Dick Nick is jealous. See you, Brodes.
Okay, took a little bit of a turn there. I wouldn't rule out Walker Buehler maybe. I got to see more from Walker Buehler. But there might be more consistency in Walker Buehler when it's all said and done. I did not mind his last start, but there's a lot of work to be done. There's clearly a team in the Boston Red Sox who felt he wasn't worth it. That doesn't mean that he can't come here and have a shot and feel a different type of energy, a different type of feeling. It's a different role. It's a different expectation. Maybe there's something to that. I'm not sure. But, all right, listen, I'm on the shorter side today, but these West Coast games are just straight up kicking my rear end. So I'm doing my very best. With that, go Phils. Fun game. Keep cruising. We'll see how this puppy wraps up.